Hi everyone, so today I'm excited to bring you some new items from Spellbinders. It's part of their new collections they just launched for January. So they did send these items free of charge in my review, and of course all opinions are my own. Any links in the description box will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you're to purchase items to those links. So thank you guys for using those if you can. They're there in the description box, of course, right under the video here. So I have some stuff that is, we don't really think about these things, I think, too often because it's more utilitarian than it is like, oh, how cute, So today I have the new precision plates that are going to cut. They're calling precision because these are really fine. We'll talk about that in just a moment. As far as the sizing, I have two different styles. I think these are the A2, and I have the mini slimline, which is really cute. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. I'm going to pair them up so you can see kind of what they do with some of the new items from Yana's Blooms collection. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. Actually, I'll start with this. So these are part of Yana's new collection there with Spellbinders, and what's really cool about this one is that let me see, this is the Magnolia Bloom die set. So it's the beautiful die there, and then you have the outline or the shadow. So this one is larger than this guy. So what I want to show you real quick is that this has its own edge. So it's going to cut this gorgeous, very thin line, gorgeous bloom set of the Magnolia, which is like one of my favorite flowers. And then this guy is an outer die. So if you want to use this one, you're going to have like a background layer, basically. I'm going to do something today, I think, that's going to show you a different way of using them, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. This also has a glimmer plate that's very much the same, so it's going to do the glimmer lines instead of like this being the paper that's cut this way. And then the other, I believe, also has an outline die. So I'm assuming you can probably mix and match them in some way, but basically it's the same thing. What this is cutting, the glimmer's cutting, so or putting the foil in. So really, really pretty. I have that paired up with Yana's script sentiments. So we have the script sentiments here, and I love these. I was trying to pair this so I can show it to you, and I'm like, oh, see this little piece? Do not remove that. Don't chip that. Don't take that off. It's there to cut like the H in thanks, or I'm sorry, the K, and this little area here, that little loop. So it's cut out. So it looks really nice and slim and just gorgeous. So we have this that you can use on its own, a nice little slim line thanks. And then we have the background that you can pair it with if you would like. Of course, you can put those together, or just use the one, make it very thin. And then this is the word happy. And again, don't get rid of these little guys. That's going to cut a really nice, cool background for your sentiment. And then birthday, and the birthday one has the most of that kind of like little center part. So that's really cool. I really love that that style choice, right, for the words and the lettering there with the script. So I have those guys. I'm going to layer them up, I think, or use them with today's video or in today's video, because the other items that I'm going to show you, like I said, are very much utilitarian, and we're going to do some layering, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. One other thing I probably layer on today are some of these gorgeous new colors that they have in the Color Essential Gems, you guys. These are so pretty because they are actual crystal, like glass, okay? So they're not plastic rhinestone type things. These are legit. So we have Sapphire Aurora Borealis, and it might be tough to see with the plastic on it, but you can see the AB. Really gorgeous blue. Prism AB, and I don't know if you can see the difference between the blues. Look how this one's like brighter, a little deeper blue, or this one just has that kind of deeper tone under. I just want to show you guys that in case you're curious. Spectrum AB, and I will say that these usually sell out pretty quickly, so if this is something you're interested in, sooner rather than later, I think, because the colors always seem to sell out. This is Aura AB, and it kind of has like a yellow undertone. Where like this one, the spectrum is more silvery. I don't know if you can see that. And then this, oh, look how pretty, the aquamarine. Again, pairing it up with the other blues that are here with that light blue, just so pretty. So pop those in behind there. So I do have some stuff written down because these have some info to go with them. So I put them this way. So this is group A and this is group B. And that's how they're, have them there in the shop. So A is precision layering A, precision layering B. Now A starts off with 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so this is your largest map for an A2 size card, right? So it's going to cover the whole front of your card. Actually, let me grab a card. And you can pretty much see that, right? So if you want to make a layer that's going to be perfectly cut for you, to mat the whole card. You have that. And these are every 1/8 of an inch. So every 1/8 of an inch, you know, an 1/8 of an inch smaller, 1/8 of an inch smaller, 1/8 of an inch smaller. So the smallest guy, which is going to be awesome, these guys for like, you know, sentiments and a background piece if you want, is 1.5 by 1 3/4. So it's a 1/2 inch. Did I say 1.5? I 1/2. So it's a 1/2 inch by 1 3/4. Okay. So hopefully you can kind of imagine what's going on there with the 1/8 of an inch. If you pair them with set B, that means you can make layers that are 1/16 of an inch difference. So let me show you, like this largest guy, if I had put this next one, it's 1/16 of an inch inside of this larger guy. So these are also 1/8 of an inch within this group. They're an 1/8 of an inch difference, 1/8 of an inch difference. But if you pair the two groups together, then you're going to have 1/16ths, which I love. It's going to be really fine and really pretty. On group B, it starts off at 4.15, which I guess is 4 1/16. I'm trying to think what that translates to, because 4 1/4 or 4.25 is 4 1/4, right? So it's a little, again, a 16th difference from this guy. So it's 4.15 by 5.4, okay? And then they go in an 1/8 of an inch difference each time to the small guy, which is 0.4 by 1.65. So if you took these two smaller ones even, you can see, I'm just, you know, I can't mat this in here. I'm just trying to show you like the sizing. It's just a little bit, the 1/16 of an inch smaller all around. Let me put the right things back. Okay, I'm going to put these to the side for now because I'm going to grab the mini slimline ones to show you those. And it's the same thing. They're an 1/8 of an inch apart within each A and B. But if you mix them together, you know, the different layers, they'll be a 1/16 of an inch apart. So let me grab those and I'll pop them on here too. Trying to set these up on here, and this is kind of what I did. I just popped them down, and then you just kind of doot, 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 and they just want to fall in place. What's cool is that, of course, you can store them on like a magnetic sheet like this, but I want to show you something right now. When I went to move the other ones off, I was like, I have these little book rings sitting next to me. I'm like, I'm just put them on the book ring. And honestly, I'll probably just have these hanging here next to me because these are the kind of thing you're going to use all the time. So like, let's not go look for them. I know they're here and I can just grab them. So I have this set on here, and then I have the other set here. This is A and this is B. Okay. So with these guys, they're a little different sizing, so I want to talk about that for just a second. So again, we have group A over here, and I know they're a little bit crooked, and B is over here, okay? So their sizing on their mini slimlines, and you know, companies, you know, choose whatever it is they're going to do for that kind of thing. And so for them, it looks like they consider mini slimline 3 1/4 by 6 1/4. So group A starts off with the 3 1/4 by 6 1/4. So if you want your mini slimline to be that size, you can pop that on there. Yeah, so that's the largest one, 3 1/4 by 6 1/4, and then this inside one is a 1/2 by 3 1/2. So again, I mean, you can just, you know, stamp a sentiment on that, and then have it sideways build up around it. So pretty. So again, in mats and layers, right? So again, these are all every 1/8 of an inch, I believe. Yeah, every 1/8, just like before. And then set B starts off at 3.15 by 6.15, roughly. I think it's at 6.14 something, something, something. But so 3.15 by 6.15. And then the very smaller inside one is 0.4 by 3.4. So again, 1/8 inch difference here, 1/8 inch difference here. But if you mix the two sets, you'll have 16-inch differences in between. You know, this guy, then this guy, this guy, then this guy, this guy, then this guy, this guy, and you go in from there. So I'm going to grab some paper, and what I'm going to do today is just show you the difference of what they might look like if you had the 1/8 of an inches or if you had the 16ths, and make a couple cards that have to do with that. So I'm just going to cut some card bases if I need to, and then I'm going to grab some paper and we'll just start cutting some mat layers. Okay, so let's start off with the A2 size. We're just going to make some card bases, then we're going to dress them up with those Yanas Blooms. So I hope this is not confusing. What I want to do is, I guess what I can do is start off with this set, and then I'll mix these guys in as a complementary set. Okay, so we're going to start off with group A, and all I'm going to do in this one is just take the largest die. I'm going to cut that from this black paper, so the largest one. Again, it cuts 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. What I also love about this is that it's going to make it nice and rounded because it's a die, you know. Same with you, obviously you can cut it with a guillotine. It's going to give a different look, and maybe you're going to be a little off because I'm always a little off, and I know that's how it works. So I think this is going to be really nice. So I'm going to use that to cut the black one, and then I'm going to use the next largest one. So it's going to be an 1/8 of an inch difference, right? The next largest one, this one, to cut this really pretty gold glitter card. So let me put bring this out. And, I'll still line it up as far over as I can on an edge or wherever, so, we're still maximizing our paper, so we have just a little bit cut away. So that's the next largest, right, in this set. So I'm going to take that one. And then the next largest one, all from group A, is this one. I'm going to cut some white paper. So I'm just going to take this white paper and cut that. Okay, so I'm going to run these through my machine and I will be right back. So these are all going to be 1/8 of an inch difference. I'll be right back. Okay guys, so all from group A, we did 1, 2, and then 3. My third layer. These are all exactly, basically 1/8 inch apart, okay? So I'm going to glue these down, but we'll do that in just a minute. So we have our standard 2-size card. And we have all of these layers here, okay? Not gluing them down quite yet, but we will. So we'll see what the 1/8 inch looks like. For this next one, I'm going to show you what the 16th would look like. Same colors. So what we're going to do, this was the third one in on group A. And I'll do the same thing for the mini slimline. So I'm going to explain it one time and then that'll be it. So we use these 3. So for this next one, what we're going to do is just remove this little guy, because what we want to do is use the ones that are the one that's in between these two. So I'm going to put this guy back. I'm going to grab the wrong set of loops. So again, this is group A. I'm just going to take that one again, that smaller one, right? We use the 3, the largest, the next largest, and then this guy. I'm going to put him back. What we need to do is grab the one that splits the difference here. So for the one that splits the difference between these two to make a 1/16 of an inch is the largest one from group B. So you can play around with it that way, and you can think about what it is that you want to do, and you're good to go. But this guy is the one that goes in between those two. So what I'm going to do is, again, use the largest one to cut black. I'm going to use the one I just got from group B, the largest one from group B, to cut gold. And then back to the one from group A, that was the next size down from the largest, right? So we're splitting the difference. We use that one middle one, which is the largest from the other group. So basically, if you go A, B, A, B, A, B, you're going to get those 1/16 of an inches, right? So A, B, A, if you want to keep going, B, and then A, and then B, going largest in. That's probably the easiest way to think about that one. So again, largest, I'm going to cut black. This one I'm going to cut the gold, and this one I'm going to cut white, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we have those guys, and again, the gold was cut from the largest one from group B. So I'm going to put that to the side so I remember that's group B, and then these guys are from group A. And let me get my card base. Oh, I thought I had it sitting out here. I guess not. So now if we have these guys, and I'm going to go ahead and glue them down in just a second. We have the largest one again. I don't know if you can see like the edge is nice and cut, because again we used the die, so it just has a nice rounded edge. So we have that guy, and then we have the gold, and hopefully you can see that that's smaller, right? The edging is a 1/16 of an inch different, and perfect, right? Because that's what it's about, it's precision. So we have those guys. Of course, when I glue it down, I'll glue it down a little different. And see how it's just a nice thin little edge? And this is what the 1/8 of an inch separation looks like. So, you see the difference there? I'm going to do the exact same thing with the same thing with the mini slimline, but I'll talk about that after I've cut it. One other thing I want to do, because I know people are going to tell me I'm covering up all this beautiful gold glitter paper, which I am. So what I'm going to do is take this one and just take one of the smaller dies, like any one of these smaller dies from any one of these guys, and you can just cut out, like, let's say this one. Of course, you want to clear what you did, so don't, get it too close. And then again, you can also pair these up and make frames, right? So like that one is probably a little too close. I'm going to do the next size down, which again I can grab from the other set, or I can just get from this one. Sorry, just grab this guy. I'm gonna go ahead and run that through, and that way I have this whole gold piece in the middle that I can use for something else. You don't have to just use that up. And I'll do the same thing with this one. I'll just separate this out, and just run that through. So I have this gold to use somewhere else. So I'll be right back. So again, I just did that just so we can conserve some of our paper. So we're just taking that. Now you can use this paper for something else. You have a perfectly cut mat. You can use it the next time on a different card or however you want to use it. All right, so now I'm going to glue these down. Now, of course, I just have this plain white background. If you want to, you know, add some little inking, something gorgeous on there, you can definitely do that. I just want to focus on talking a little bit about the precision layered dies and how you might want to use that. And then I'm going to show you a little something fun to do with the Yanas Blooms dies. Since this video is, you know, talking mostly about these guys, I want to show you something quick and fun, a little cheater way of using the dies that those other dies there. So I'm going to put that there. I just want to make sure I have the right papers wherever, since I'm doing two things at once here. And then we can see kind of the difference between the different sizing. And I'm going to glue the other one basically just the same way as you're seeing here. Now, if you wanted to, you know, you can pop this guy up, give it a little dimension between the two, right? I'm gluing everything just so you have an idea of exactly how that looks, but popped up would look really nice. And if I was going to do inking or even some little ink splatters or things like that, I would do it before I put this down. You know, get it all dolled up and then put it down. Oh my gosh. Alright, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. Just glue down the different layers. Okay, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we have our two cards, again with the 1/8 of an inch mats and with the 1/16 of an inch. So pretty, and then we gutted them so that we didn't waste that paper in the background. Okay, so real quick, I want to show you something fun. So I have these guys here, and I just have some paper. I'm going to use some heavyweight white paper. You might have to adjust what you're doing just in case, you know, depending on the paper you're using. But I have this really pretty, like hot kind of red foil paper. I'm going to put that to the side for right now. I just need this white paper for right now. And what I'm going to do is just use this inner die. And we want to give ourselves room for the outer die though, so because we're going to use this, it's not going to cut out the way I'm doing it, and then we need to use that outer die to cut it out. So this is just a little cheater way. I don't know if you can see, the die itself has like texture. So if you want to do some paper piecing and things like that, that's great. You know, I'm going to do something kind of quick and super easy, and hopefully you guys will like this little trick. And hopefully it'll work out for me here. I want some water. So I'm going to spray this with a little bit of water just because this is a heavyweight paper. If I was using a lighter weight paper, it might just work just by itself. But I'm going to put a little bit of water on that just to get the fibers kind of moving, because what's going to happen is we're going to make an impression, but we're not going to cut. So I am going to put a little bit of tape just to hold it, just in case. Like the smallest amount of tape, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to bring this guy over. And we are going to only use the rubber embossing. So if you have a system that, you know, you use it a little bit differently, whatever it is that you need to do, just for the rubber embossing. So I have my die facing down into my paper that I just put a little water on. I'm going to face it up into the embossing mat. So what's going to do is give me the impression, but it's not going to cut through. So if yours does cut through, then that's too much pressure. So just work on whatever it is, you know, that's kind of why I wet the paper too. And also if you're using a lighter weight paper, maybe you don't even have to wet it. I just wet it because this stuff is really thick. And you can see from the back that it's pushed in and it looks like a glimmer plate almost, but it does not cut, okay? So on this side, we're going to remove this stuff, and actually I'm going to ditch that for now. I like to reuse my little washi until I can't, and that looks like it's on its last leg, so that piece can just be tossed out. And this guy too. Oops, sorry. Now, you can see, it even looks like a little bit too pushed in maybe. Some pieces did get almost cut. Just depends on the paper and the whatever's going on. Now we're going to take our die, and I am going to eyeball that really nicely. Get some new fresh washi. And put that up here. Oh, you know, actually this reminds me, they put out a lot of new tools even there on Spellbinders site. So this is the best ever craft tape, but from Spellbinders. I always have it linked in the description box as one of the things I use all the time. So I line that up, and this time we're going to put this away. We are going to cut it. So all that bits, those bits that kind of got pushed up, maybe even too much, are going to get squished back again, usually when you go to cut it, because the pressure that pushes in. So we're just going to cut this. And then I'm going to use the fine line one that we used initially to cut that red foil paper, I think. So now that I've cut this out, I have a little tape there, a little tape there. A little tape here. Let me. So this is just a way of getting the texture without really doing much other than just running it through and not letting it cut through. Sorry, let me get these little bits off of here. There was a lot of pressure, so cut the stuff there. So I don't know if you can see this, but now we have this piece, and it has the little marks, you know, it has like all the texture. I mean, you can use this on its own, and then you can color it in if you want right now, add some color to it. All I'm going to do, though, to top this off is we have that. I'm going to take that piece of foil, metallic paper, I think this fits on it. Might, yeah. Oh, let's make some adjustments to make sure this fits here so I can get this cut out nicely, the whole thing. We'll find a way, we'll find a way. That is probably the best way right there, because I can see this is bigger over here. Ooh, look at that. Okay. And I definitely need to tape that down. That cannot move, because I need it to be exactly there. So let's tape this pretty well. And I'll run this through and I'll be right back. Yeah, I don't think it moves, so that's wonderful. So this is going to have a lot of pieces. Well, actually, let me show you, because I wonder if it has a lot of pieces to fall out or however. So, you know, these little bits, if you wanted to keep them because you're going to paper piece back in, you know, go for it. I think there's some kind of trick that people like to do with the, what's that thing called? Dryer sheets, stuff like that, or they cut it through a certain way so that everything kind of stays together. But you can see most of the pieces are staying in there, so it'd be very easy to just pick out what it is that you need or what you want. Sometimes when I just want to clean it out, I'll start doing this. That way it'll push out the extra bits, you know, that I just want to be removed anyway, because I'm just going to use the outline. Start cleaning it up before I even get it out of the die. Ooh, oh, so pretty. So what I'm going to do is clean this guy out very carefully. And you know what I like about this is that, like, right now I just popped those out, and it's like the little bud part, or like the bottom part of the flower. I could just left that and it'd be just pretty, and however. So like, look at, I mean, look at this. So pretty. So I'm going to clean it out and I'll be right back. Okay, look how pretty. Now let's bring back our little cheater piece. And basically we're just going to glue this onto that. And hopefully you can see now you have all that texture in there. And right now, if you wanted to, you know, take a little inking, you know, look at your little flowers and just ink up different areas just to differentiate things, you can definitely do that. I'm going to leave it pristine like that, so that's what I'm doing. And very thin lines. Again, I like to put glue on the back of my hand to take care of that, but however you like to do those kind of things. One of my gals here said she puts glue on a brayer and a surface, and then just brayers the back of her pieces. So that's a really smart tip. For me, I just kind of push around, just really making sure I have the very edges with some glue on them. And you can go back into the center areas. And I'm just going to start, I'm starting over here with this leaf because I can see that very clearly, and just kind of walk it over, making sure everything gets in its place nicely. Oopsie. I'm going to do this a couple more times because I'm going to do this so that all the cards are basically the same, so you can just see the difference in the matting, basically. Okay, so I'm going to do this a few more times and I will be right back. Look at that. Okay. So I'm going to bring back these guys, and basically you can see the difference with the layering. And then I'm just going to cut the word thanks, and I think I'll use some gold, bring the gold back in, or however I want to do that. So I'll cut these guys out again. We're just going to run them through. Ooh. So I'll either do gold and black or something, you know, with these guys, but I'll do that in just a minute. With these, I'm going to put them down with a little 3D glue gel just to give them a little bit of height that's going to be different from the thanks. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a moment to use the mini slimline dies in the exact same way. I'll cut them so that you can see what it looks like with the 1/16th and with the 1/8 of an inch differences. Again, mixing the A's and B's, you know, these sets. And I will be right back. Okay guys, so I did the same thing with the mini slimline. Again, they start off with in the size A, it's 3 1/4 by 6 1/4. So I went ahead and made card bases that were 6 1/4 by 6 1/2. On the 6 1/2 inch side, you're going to score it at 3 1/4, right? So that way it's 3 1/4 by 6 1/4. On this one, I did all A. So A, right? Every, this one here. So it's A, and A. So it just went concentrically in these first 3. So that's what I have here. And over here we did A, B, A, right? So we start off with A, then we went to the largest in B, and then back to the next one in A. So A, B, A. And that's how I did that. Now you can always do B, 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 just like I did A, 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 and then you'll have a smaller mat already just starting off than your card base, right? You would start off with this guy, which is essentially this guy. So if you wanted that just to start off with the card base and then have a matte layer, you know, my card base is a little crooked, but because again, this is the thing, when you cut with your own guillotine, you know, you never know. So the precision dies are nice to have. You would have that little bit of layer if you want, okay, if you go B, 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 you know. And so I'm just gonna glue these down like I did before. I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I just rolled out a few little thanks here. Oh, so pretty. I think I'm going to use them just like that without a background piece. Of course, you can layer these up on top of each other, like if you were cutting from the same paper or white paper, and glue, 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 and then that way it'll be like thicker. I think I'm going to put this, like I said, just tucked in there. I like the way it looks. So the glue I used is still wet, so I can kind of move this over if I wanted to. There we go. And I'll do this with all the cards. I'm just going to put some glue on the back of my hand again. Get this little delicate guy in there. Oh. My A has a little something I can pop out and make it much more delicate. And then I'll finish off with a few little rhinestones, little gems. So I think I'll put that there. And like I said, I'm going to do them all basically the same. So I'm going to come back and glue this one down and then the others, and we'll compare, okay? I'll be back. Okay guys, so check these out. You know, I was thinking, of course, if you wanted to go like if you go A, and then, sorry, I'm turned away from here. But let's say you go A, and then you skip this one, you go to the next A, that's a 1/4 inch mat, which is usually what we cut like when we're cutting guillotine. So if you want to do that, you can also, I mean, there's so many ways to mix and match this and ways of getting all those different sizes. Really, really great. So I wanted to just show you kind of what those look like, what the differences look like. And hopefully this is a good visual because I did exactly the same. I did go ahead and back this one with the black. Look how fine that is. It looks so pretty. Mounted up together, it looks almost like this is just like little, you know, if you have like a cookie and you put a little frosting on the very tip of like the bound, like the little recessed areas or the high areas. That's what it looks like. It looks like it's just like glazed. I don't know. So we have these guys, and I'm just going to finish them off with some rhinestones just so you have an idea and see kind of what that looks like. So real quick, 1/8 inch mat, 1/16 of an inch mat. You know, it just depends. What do you like best? I would recommend here. I love a 1/16 inch mat. I've been doing 8ths and 16ths, but you know, they're just so fine and gorgeous. I mean, look at the difference there. So like I said, I'll finish these off with some rhinestones. I have some images for you guys. I have all the links in the description box. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you so much, Spellbinders, for sending these items for review. And I will see you guys at the next one. Bye now.